Welcome back to SOS. I'm Stas talking about us. A little tired. I just woke up. Wanted to do a little Memorial Day thing. I want to thank everyone that's out there that have served. I've served, but I still thank others that serve. That's just what I do. And a lot of veterans will do that. You know, they just, well, thank you for your service, and other people will do that. Now, Memorial Day is a different kind of gear shift here. I mean, you've got, people that have sacrificed their lives for this great country in one way or another. Either someone else's freedom, I'm saying someone else's freedom, or our own. Now, oh man, I'm going to have every one of the jerk face hippies out there. They're like, well, they didn't fight for our freedom, and they fought for oil or whatever. There's still those weirdos out there that are going to say that, and I don't really care. I mean, they don't realize that we don't always fight for our own freedom. We also fight for other people's freedom, okay? Other people's slavery, other people's situations. We fight for others. We don't just fight for ourselves, and people don't realize that. A lot of sacrifices are made, and I mean, you can look back at every other war, and you can look back at Vietnam, and what were they fighting for in Vietnam? There you go. I mean, you can go even further back. I mean, you can go into different situations, and we don't always fight for our own freedom. It's been a long time, right? So just keep that in mind, and keep other people in your thoughts and prayers. Some people are really deeply affected by it, and some people have that folded flag as the memory. It goes into a small story. I wasn't going to tell this story. I did kind of post something on Instagram on my birthday, because I think about this on my birthday every time it happens. But this doesn't have anything to do with a war or anything. This is a different type of war, I guess. But I wasn't going to tell this story. I was just going to kind of go on with my life and not say it. But I will, because this is what I do, and the reason why I started making YouTube videos in the first place was to get on here and make myself get stuff off my chest, so I guess I will. Now, on my 30th birthday, and I will tell this story, I lost a friend, and this has nothing to do with war, but it is Memorial Day, so I figured, why not? I had a friend commit suicide, and he hung himself, and the situation with that, was just completely wrong. And, these are stories from the military that people probably don't want to hear, or they wouldn't want me to tell. There are people out there that wouldn't want me to tell this story. But there was a certain individual that put another individual at risk, technically, and it's kind of a long story with that, and I didn't want to get into details about the individual, and I just want to leave it at that. Now, they being put on duty and knowing that he shouldn't be on duty, but they put him on duty anyways, and a lot of issues going on with the individual, which was my friend, and I kind of figured, but we knew there was a chance at some point, but talking to them and stuff like that didn't help. And I literally took them under my wing and carried them everywhere with me, and never left the person's sight until I took leave. And I took leave, and I went to go see my family. And when I come back, I come back and I fall into this thing. But I found him. So I found him, and I found his body, and I realized he didn't want to die. It was part of the NCIS investigation. He was trying to cut himself loose, and he dropped his knife and couldn't cut himself loose. So that was part of the NCIS investigation that went with that. And I actually got sucked into all that and got to talk to them and stuff like that. But it was just weird. So my 30th birthday, that's how my 30th went. A lot of people don't know that story. But there's more to the story. I was also an escort for him. I volunteered to be the escort. I was asked, and then they knew I was going to do it. So I was the escort. So I had to throw my blues on, and I got him dressed at the morgue. So at the morgue, I actually got him dressed in uniform and straightened him out because they needed a service member to be able to straighten his uniform out. I did that. I also did the angel flight. We flew to Buffalo, New York, and took him to his family and his friends. And there was a lot of, I'm not going to shed any tears in this video or anything, so you don't expect all that. I was upset enough over this over years. It's been some time, so I can actually tell this story without freaking out. But anyways, I took him to his family and his friends. Okay, I met up with other personnel there that was going to do the ceremony for him, and the reason why he got the burial that he got is because they knew he had already said he was not feeling good. So that's how that happens. A lot of people will ask that question, like, wait a minute, how did he rate all this? Well, he had already stated that, hey, look, I don't feel so good. And then people knew. So if you knew, you shouldn't push him a little bit further, you know what I mean? So if you already knew about that person. So trust me, the person that did that kind of push got his, sort of. A lot of us that know that person don't like that person, so that's just the way that is. But it's a good thing I don't just go, hey, look, that's the name of that person, but I'm not that kind of person. Anyways, moving on. Okay, so I was at escort, and for the angel flight, the plane stops, and, hey, look, everyone, moment of silence, removing someone from the plane, and you know that story. If some of you might have seen TV shows, that's kind of how that happens, but it's not like the TV shows, right? Flag is over the casket, and they load him up and take him off, and there's a service just like anybody else. Everyone gets to come and see him and that ordeal, and there's also a ceremony that goes with that, and everyone pretty much says their final. It's part of an order that's actually written out, and you can read that order, and there's certain things that are said. There's a whole ceremony with salutes and all this stuff, and then you go and you do the flag ceremony. A lot of people don't know the difference between officers and enlisted. He had a 7-gun salute because he was enlisted in the situation. Also, he had a mother and father that were divorced, so you have to present a flag to two people. So I presented the flag. The Marines folded the flag and gave it to me, and then I present the flag to the mother and the father. I had to do that twice. The father was easy. That was the easy one. He took the flag, and there was no, he was upset, but he didn't do quite like the mother. The mother wouldn't let me go once I did the, on behalf of the President of the United States, you say the spiel, and a grateful nation, and all this stuff. You say this spiel. I remember I had to sit and memorize that. I sit and say it over and over and over and over again. And that's like, it's a mess because I had already said, seen his family and his friends, all of his friends, all of his little buddies, from high school and stuff. So I had that whole ordeal, what was he like when he was in, and stuff like that. You have a whole ordeal, being attacked by other people, and them doing super special things. It was just funny. They gave him like a bottle of whiskey in his casket and stuff like that. It was good to see his friends and what played out with that. And but his mother wouldn't let me go, and his mother was crying a lot, and it was hard. It was really hard. She knocked my because there's difference in Bravos and Alphas and all of those stuff. You don't wear medals to something like that, right? But yeah, she had knocked some of my stuff off a little bit on my uniform, but that's just what happens. And I corrected it later, but I had to, keep my bearing and keep my, I try not to get upset, and then just stand up, right face and start walking. And, you have to, you still have, it's a ceremony, so you still have to do all that stuff. But it's hard to do all that stuff when you got people crying on you. But you right face and then walk off, and then, you about face and then turn and face the crowd and wait for everything to settle its course and everything that's taking place after that. So anyways, I don't ever get the chance to tell stories like that. There's more, but I'll tell you that one. And I know I get on here and I'm supposed to tell stories and stuff like that, and all the other things that go with it, and teach you stuff. But it's Memorial Day, and I figured I'd tell you that little story. And my grandfather had some interesting stories, though. He had some really interesting stories. He's super cool, dude. He was in World War II. But yeah, some interesting stories. Really interesting stories. Really wild stories. But hey, this is just one of those things. I served in Operation Enduring Freedom, Operation Iraqi Freedom, both of those. It's listed. It's actually on file and on record. I could show it. I have proof. Oh, man. But anyways, it's strange, it's strange. You end up in some weird situations. That was one of my weird military situations I never thought I would be involved in, and I was. But it's just a weird situation and I wanted to tell that little story, and I don't know how many of you wanted to know it, but it was odd afterwards. The mother wanted to stay in contact with me in that situation, and it's just how it is. I mean, it's just going to happen. But yeah, I don't even know what else to say with that. But I can tell you that I appreciate everyone, and I appreciate all of you that watch. And just keep that in mind. Just know that. But yeah, I'm trying to keep this simple. But I just want to say to everyone who serves and everyone who's going to serve, if you're getting ready to head off and you're going to get into the military, there's no regrets. No regrets. Do it. Not very many people do. Not too many people do serve. You'll make some memories. You'll make some friends. You'll make a lot of friends. You'll have more friends than you know what to do with. That's always good to know. It'll add character. It'll add a lot of character. You'll look at things differently. You'll laugh at things that you normally wouldn't laugh at. People won't understand you anymore. There's going to be a lot of people who don't understand you, or why you thought the way you did, or the way you talked the way you did, or how you dealt with a situation afterwards. So it's a little bit different after you've been in the service for a while. Little bit different. And those of you that have served know. And all the different branches of service deal with different stuff. It's just funny, talking to people that are in the Navy, and they don't realize how much time I actually spent aboard ship. And I can relate to the crazy gray prison, and they respect that. And I've got a lot of respect for people that did serve in weird situations. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, I want to thank all of you that have served, and I just wanted to say that. And I know I've served, but I'm still thanking other people for their service, because they've done things I haven't done. I've done things they haven't done. So there you go. And if you're thinking about doing it, go do it. No regrets. And just want you all to know I love you, And God bless America. God bless this great country. And all the people that have died to keep it great. That's all I got. And I want you to take it easy.